Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another counter side video. Alright, in this video, we're going to talk about the next Counterpass characters. So hopefully give you guys an idea which one is the most worth it, especially if you are free to play. Now this is going to all refer to the global counter side roadmap they've posted on their official Twitter and on the official website as well. So we're going to have a look at all of these, give you guys an idea. So you can see that we're going to have Regina tomorrow, right? So Regina is coming after the Twins. So Ice and Zwei will be going away. We have Regina Counterpass coming in. After Regina, we're going to have Counterpass Ludmila. Now that's insane, right? So Ludmila is pretty crazy. After Ludmila, we're going to have Counterpass Adif Twins right here. So that's all we know until August. So I would love to give my own speculation on what other character will come in the Counterpass, but unfortunately it's kind of difficult because in C server, after Twins and Regina, I think we got Harap first as our third Counterpass character. But Harap apparently is changed, right? She is available via recruitment. You can see Serapel, Alex, and Harap. So it's going to be quite difficult to speculate based on that because, I think Global is going to change things up a little bit. So let's talk about the next three characters first. So hopefully give you guys an idea, especially if you are a low spender, right? Now, before we start off with today's video, I just want to reiterate and let you guys know, especially those of you who didn't watch my previous video, the Counterpass is still the best thing to buy in the game. If you are a free-to-play low spender, I mean you can't be free-to-play and low spender at the same time, but if you're a low spender, you're super low spender, you're someone that's budget conscious, you can't spend and buy much packages, Counterpass is the best thing to buy in the game. It gives you, let's talk about what it gives you. It gives you some of the black tickets. This is going to be very useful. It gives you a bunch of these cores, alright, soldier cores, counter cores, etc. It gives you the characters, you get 10 copies of it, so you can get them up to 106. You get a lot of these gold binaries, and of course most of these things are pretty valuable. So as a low spender, I do highly recommend you get it. This should be the only package that you buy. On Counterside C server, as a low spender myself, I only bought the Counterpass. That's the only thing that I buy. For a couple of months, I did well on the game first 2 or 3 months playing, but after that I just buy the Counterpass only. I've never bought any packages ever since, and it's always more than sufficient enough. Now, let's talk about the Counterpass character, Regina. So should you get Regina? So let me straight up tell you that Regina is not a must-have. She is strong, but she has been replaced later on as well. So let's talk about in the context of PvE and PvP. So in PvE, is Regina strong? Yes. She can be used in a lot of stages, especially the one with plenty of mechs. If you guys have been playing any of the Chloe's credit search, any of the Chloe's info, you notice that you're fighting against a Titan, right? Like a dark black color Titan. So that guy is a mech, and there are some soldiers there. There are some Ifrit at the back. You can actually stun those mechs with her. So let's talk about her skills, her kits. What can she do? So first things first, her AoE, Ice Blade out of her hand. Basically very basic on her basic skill. Passive skill, every time she loses 25% HP, inflicts AoE damage on surrounding enemies. So the skill decreases enemies' healing amounts and attack speed by 20% for 5 seconds, and these values will be doubled for max. So damage resistance plus 30% for 5 seconds after the passive activation, anti-mech damage resistance double. So what makes her super strong is probably the passive and the special combined. So special, she summons Ice Wall, inflicts AoE damage, stun max for 4 seconds, desummon Ice cannot be healed, and periodically forces 2 surrounding enemies to attack it for 5 seconds. So if you want a context, it works similarly to Carl Wong's shield, except for it stuns particularly only mechs. It doesn't stun counters and soldier, whereas Carl Wong's shield stuns everyone, right? So that's going to be much more of a general use, although this one does stun mechs for 4 seconds. Now you can see at level 5, the Ice instantly creates a barrier equal to 10% of max HP around surrounding allies. Now this level 5 skill is not as useful as you think, because most of the time Regina will be in front and you have more allies at the back. So most of the time the allies at the back don't really get the barrier. But unless you put Regina alongside with your other tanky units, your striker, your defender, yes, they all get the barrier. Now someone's Ice Torn from the Abyss, inflict AoE damage, the enemies lose 15% of attack speed and attack for 14 seconds, and these values doubled for max. That's for the ultimate skill. So she does a lot of things right here, but mostly she's being used to counter mechs. Alright, you can see she is kind of strong in PvE. If the PvE stage has max in it, chances are she will be quite strong there. Now the problem here is she will get replaced later on. So if you guys are not aware, Regina, she's a supporter 3 cost, and later on we have a very similar character, and I would say even better, which is Machine Collector. So Machine Collector, she's also focuses in countering max. She can do more. She's much more useful in raids. She is not a counterpass character. You can pull her later on, and I would say Machine Collector overall can replace what Regina does in some stages that requires you to counter max. And of course, we also have one more 3 cost supporter, Rita Arsenico. So this one you will get her alongside with Horizon, alongside with Dash in the event, and she is going to be quite strong as well to counter max. Like you can have a look and see, you can see this passive skill. She has enhanced basic attack after special ultimate skills, inflicting 50% more AoE damage, and enemies lose 15% of attack for 5 seconds. Value doubled for max. She gives anti-mag damage resistance plus 30% outside of Gauntlet, right? And then enhanced attacks from her passive skill inflicts true damage. This is insane. She does a lot of damage for a supporter, stuns max for 2 seconds. Now Regina does stun max for 4 seconds, but again, Rita has way more damage to counter max overall. So every time you're going to see this as a meta in PvP, she is going to be a stronger character overall to counter max. And also, she is a flying unit, right? She is a flying unit, and that gives her a slight advantage on PvP, especially when everyone has kit their gears surrounding the anti-ground etc. So we have plenty of mech counter that will come later on. That's not to say that Regina is, she's weak and stuff, but I feel like I seldom use her anymore in PvP. I still use Rita most of the time. She's definitely much more of a PvE unit for sure right now in the C server. So let's talk about the next character that I want to talk about, which is the next counterpass after Regina, coming in July. And that is none other than Ludmila. So let's talk about Ludmila. Should you get Ludmila? Now if you have to choose, I would say yes. Ludmila is by far going to be the best counterpass character ever. I would put her as, she is as strong as Twins, alright? She is really, really strong. 4-core sniper, insane. So once she comes, you probably won't use Xiaolin anymore. She just replaces Xiaolin in a lot of situations, in a lot of cases. So number one, she can hit air. Xiaolin cannot hit air. You see one solution that she can solve. Number two, she's a flying unit. Xiaolin is not. Xiaolin is a ground unit, and guess what? Xiaolin is gonna get Kang Soyoung every time enemies see a Xiaolin in PvP. Guess what? Ludmila cannot be Kang Soyoung. But of course, if you can still kill her with Elizabeth and stuff. But yeah, that's one thing that, 2 factors that you can consider in PvP. Ludmila is just a beast. She is a monster. So she is pretty squishy though. I would say she is slightly squishier than Xiaolin. But let's talk about her damage overall. So she basically does a lot of damage in PvE. She's similar to Kim Sobin on her basic skill. Look at this, targets air units within range first. So she will always prioritize on air units. So if there's anyone in the air, she will prioritize on them first, regardless. In PvP, she will always target the Evelyns, the Rosaria, etc. Stops attacking if the target dies or move 15 meters away from her. Alright, so passive skill unlocks a new power every time an ally leaves the field, depending on its type. So basically, if an ally dies, she gets insane power depending on who dies. So she will increase crit if they are counters, she will increase her attack if they are soldiers by 5%, up to 50%. Now if max, she will create barrier equal to 15% of her max HP for 10 seconds. So let's talk about the special skill. So you can see she gathers enemies in front, levitates them, fires a cannon at them, knocking them backward with AoE damage. Her skill, special skill and ultimate skill is just insane. She is a CC monster. She doesn't stun, but she has so much hit stun. She drags the enemy and throws them around. She's like a Marvel character overall. Like her telekinesis is just insane. Her ultimate skill is what I think one of the best animation in the game. She throws an abandoned ship. The abandoned ship crashes onto the ground and pulls enemies before it explodes with AoE damage. So as you can see, last attack target speed and attack speed is reduced for 25%. Ludmila is one of the best sniper, and until today she is still one of the best sniper in PvE. Alright, in PvP later on she will get countered by this character called Awakened Lee Suyeon. Now why Awakened Lee Suyeon counters her? Because Awakened Lee Suyeon has a very strong skill. When she enters the battlefield, she inflicts damage on air units by 33% of their current HP. And this skill can crit as well. So sometimes when Lee Soo-yeon enters, she can just one-shot a Ludmila. And sometimes Xiaolin to a certain extent, depending on how the ALSY is being geared. But that's going to be way later. I don't know when Awaken Lee Soo-yeon will come. The meta in PvP is going to depend on whether or not Awaken Lee Soo-yeon is banned. If she's banned, Ludmila is there everywhere. It's just so cancer to see Ludmila. Like, she has so much CC, she's just a monster. Now let's talk about the last Counterpass, aka Adif Twins. Now, Adif Twins, probably one of the weakest Counterpass character as well. She's not as useful as Twins. She's not as useful as Ludmila, right? Is she as useful as Regina? Probably not. To be honest, I think she might be worse than Regina. So Adif Twins is a tower type. So she is a tower type, meaning that she stays at the back and just stays at the back. She fires a machine gun, as you can see, for the basic skill. The passive skill is quite interesting. So her skills are sealed. Attack is permanently decreased by 30%. So you need her HP to be dropped to 80% or lower to activate this new mood that she has, right? If you skill this up to level 5. And then she will get barrier equal to 20% of max HP upon transformation. Once she enters this mood, she will decrease her HP by 1% per second in all moods. Her ability also will decrease her HP by 1% per second in all moods. You notice like it's quite a similar trend with Sigma, where Sigma will die eventually. So same goes for Adif Twins, she will die immediately. But I think Sigma is more useful than her overall. So special skill, she does damage. Targets lose 15% of defense for 8 seconds. For the ultimate skill, inflicts AoE damage on and around a target. And first transformations fill the skill's cooldown by 50%. The problem with Adif Twins is she doesn't do much in PvE, right? Not to say that tower units are weak in PvE, but she's very damage oriented for a tower unit. And as a PvE unit, she doesn't go to the front, she doesn't to take care of the enemy. She just stays back at the ship. There is like one challenge stage that you can use her. That challenge stage has an enemy rhino charging at your ship, so you need like tower units to block them. But other than that, she won't be used beyond there. Like Maria at least can buff everyone. She does have one of the best skin in the game though. I'm gonna give it that. So this is Adif Twins. In my opinion, one of the best skins in the game. But other than that, should you buy her Counterpass? I guess depends if you like her design overall. Ludmila is still going to be the best one out of these three. So yeah, I hope that sums it up for you guys. Hopefully you guys get an idea. If you are a low spender, whether you want to buy specifically just one, then Ludmila is the next target that you want to aim for. Big shout out to the Counterside team, again, the Global Insane. The fact that they are giving us out roadmaps for us to plan things ahead. Like, you guys gotta appreciate what they are doing, right? Alright, so with that being said, as always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Probably I'll stream tomorrow and pull for Adele as well. As always, have a nice day. Goodbye.